In this movie, we're going to look at a couple of functions which will allow us to show the date and time in pretty much whatever format we like using PHP. First of all, we need to use the time function. Now this, if you're not used to it, can act in quite a counterintuitive way. What the time function displays when we simply call the function on its own is the Unix timestamp. And this measures the number of seconds since the beginning of 1970, New Year's Eve. So if we ask PHP for the time like this, we're not really getting the time. What we're really getting is a code that represents in a very absolute way how much time has passed since January the 1st, 1970. Fortunately, PHP includes a very easy way to access the time in a much more human-readable way. What we use is a getDate function, and as the argument to that, we pass the timestamp, the time function. Let's set the value of that to a variable. Now we can't use that immediately on its own. Let's try and do that and we'll see why. If we save this script and check that in our browser, as we can see, current date has been set to an array. So PHP is not showing us all the contents of it because we have to go through the array and pick out the ones that we want. Let's take a quick look through this current date array that we've produced and see what different kinds of data are stored within the current date array. We're going to use the same kind of loop as we use generally with associative arrays to using list and each to move through all of them. So we're going to show both the keys and the values of each element within this array. Let's take a look at that and we'll see the way that PHP formats the current date variable that we've just created. If we refresh our browser, we'll see that the array consists of a lot of different kinds of information about the current date. First of all, there's the date stamp, which appears right at the bottom of the array, which is what we got simply from calling the time function on its own. Then we've got the seconds, minutes and hours of the day. So we can presume 18:11, we can presume that it's 10 past 6, near enough. M-day may not be quite so obvious, that's the day of the month. W-day, that'll be what day of the week it is. And mon will be the number of the month as a numeric value. We've also got month down here to give the name of the month in a word, and we've also got the day of the week as a word as well. So as we can see, there's also Y-day, which represents the number of days it's been since the beginning of the year. We've also, of course, got the year that we're on at the moment. So as we can see, the date functions in PHP are very flexible and allow us to use this data to produce dates in pretty much whatever format we want. Let's have a look at a quick example. If we take out this list here, and we're going to write a quick example to show how we can use PHP's time and date functions to produce dates in whatever format we like. We're going to use the weekday element of the associative array that we've created, this weekday element here, and then we're going to use the mday, and that'll be the day of the month. Then we'll use the name of the month as a word. Then we'll put another space in. And then we're going to put the year. We can do very similar things to output the time. We also access that from our current date variable that we've created. If we take a look at this in our browser, as we can see, the facilities in PHP allow us to use words, numbers, in whatever configuration we like, to produce the date and time in pretty much any format we want. It would be no trouble to produce dates, for instance, in the American format, which puts the month before the day of the month. Just as easy to do that as it would in another format.